They've sold
Yeah.
Ethereum to buy Bitcoin. Cardano, their treasury, they've sold Cardano to buy Bitcoin. I look at this and think,
It's incredible.
retail doesn't want to speculate on tokens anymore. We've basically bought the meme coin speculation to listed assets, securities online. I think Dave Bailey was probably first to admit this. Now, whether we like it or not, there is a much safer environment for speculating on this. And the speculation around Bitcoin treasuries is very unique because out of all my time looking at markets, this reminds me the most of the dot-com bubble. So all of a sudden, and let me just sort of clarify this, because what I think you get with these Bitcoin treasury companies is you get the ability to have the ultimate speculative bet on, say, an internet stock where you've got all that run up. It's like being able to buy internet stocks in 97, 98, and you've got a full 2 years of it to run up and just go absolutely way past fair value. But on the downside of that is you've got a put in that they're buying Bitcoin, which means in fiat terms, you're always going to be okay. If they just hold that Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin will appreciate through time, and you get to have a speculative bet on these Bitcoin treasury companies with a long duration put that lasts forever because they're buying Bitcoin. So in fiat terms, if you buy at the absolute peak and it crashes, you just need to hold that long enough for the price of Bitcoin to make you good on it. So I look at this and think this is actually an extremely good investment vehicle because the underlying asset that these Bitcoin treasury companies are buying is rock solid. And so I look at that versus the meme coins, altcoins, everything else that you can buy. And I think I wouldn't be touching that at all because I don't get any downside protection in those investments. And it's not on a platform that I'm familiar with. And you've got, I don't know, $400 to $500 trillion worth of capital that can go into these Bitcoin treasury companies, but it's a real effort to get to the meme coins and altcoins. So I look at this and think, I don't know how you're holding altcoins thinking that we're going to have this banana zone. But look, I could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, all Raul Paul, you're right. The banana zone. What is that? When you look at, I mean, everyone synthesizes everything down to like global liquidity, M2, something to that effect, I guess we'll call it. I mean, when you're looking at stuff, I mean, what do you believe, or what is your opinion on M2 just being the driver of it? Are you looking at a bunch of other things? Matt Hogan, I was talking to him the other day, and he was just like, he had 8 different points. I mean, I think there was even more, right? But he was like, I just look at it as a ball, and there's all these strings that are kind of pulling. The ball's in the middle with all these strings coming off, and that's the price in the middle, and all these factors are, so he had a much more nuanced approach to it. But then you get some people are like, nope, it's just global liquidity. It's just M2. It's just the more currency in circulation, the more. So like, where are you? Are you somewhere in between there? Are you more towards one end or the other of the spectrum when you're kind of looking at just the overall, total market cap of Bitcoin?
I'd probably go one step beyond the global liquidity. And I think in a world that is starved of trust, you want to have an asset that you can trust. And this is where, beyond global liquidity, beyond 8 different macro factors that we can look at on a day-to-day basis, I want to look at what's an asset that I can hold for the next 10, 50, 100 years. What is the most thing I'm certain of? And if I look at all the investment options that we have out there, all of the economic indicators, firstly, I don't trust any of those economic indicators, even the global liquidity. I think they does a good job, but they can muck around with those numbers. But they've intentionally, well, that's a harsh word, but they have, whether they've intended to or not, they've deceived us when it comes to the unemployment numbers. They have revisions 6 months after the fact. The CPI numbers, the inflation figures, I can't trust them because we have revisions after the fact as well. And then they constantly change how that's monitored. The unemployment numbers, they have a 6-monthly revision after the fact to tell you that we found 1 million people more unemployed than we previously thought.
Yeah.
So they're the 3 big factors. And then the GDP figure, they tell us that a negative quarter, 2 negative quarters is not considered a recession. So these people are really flimsy with terms. And I look at this and think all of our financial data has now been politicized to achieve a political outcome. That's something I don't want to invest money in because I don't trust it. If you look at and then peel back the layers and you look at the investment thesis for property in Western countries, it's really hard to find properties that are investable in the US, the UK, Australia, because the returns just aren't there. And we've got an overinflated price of these properties because they've been financialized. So there's this huge gap in what they actually worth versus what they sell for. And I look at that and think, I don't want my money or my client's money exposed to that level of risk. Same with the stock market. The stock market's trading at all-time highs. Coca-Cola, this is the craziest example I've ever heard of. Warren Buffett was buying Coca-Cola on a 6 times price earnings ratio back in the 80s. During COVID, that thing was trading at a 30 times multiple, while at the same time, Facebook was trading at a 15 times multiple. I'm like, how on earth is Coca-Cola, which has been around forever, selling sugary water? How is that trading at a price earnings ratio twice of Facebook? You're telling me the growth outlook for Coca-Cola is better than Facebook? It was upside down world. So I look at this and think, before we look at all of those factors, which basically give us an indication about Bitcoin, what's the thing I'm most sure of? Other than the sun coming up tomorrow, the Bitcoin network working and producing a block every 10 minutes is the thing I'm most sure of. And that's where I want my money. I want surety of my money. I want return of capital, not return on capital. And if I buy Bitcoin, I get that peace of mind.
Are you concerned at all about the number of Treasury companies coming in? So coming back to that for a second, and what the cycle might look like in a year or two from now, or, say we start, all the buyers have been exhausted and we start heading back the other direction and we have a good pullback or whatever it is. Are you concerned about the number of companies that are in now, or maybe again, a year from now, if things are ripping, then and a lot more people have jumped in, does that concern you when you kind of look out on the horizon there with companies that could blow up potentially?
Not one bit. And the reason being is there's a behemoth in the room called Strategy who would love the opportunity to soak up all of that liquidity. In one day, they bought more Bitcoin than Metaplanet has purchased in the last 12 or 18 months. And once they unlock that debt market, they'll be able to soak up everything that comes to market. And this is why Michael Saylor and Strategy being that marginal purchaser, setting the marginal price of Bitcoin, is really valuable, because with those debt markets and the unlock with all of those debt instruments that he's achieved, that I believe is going to be the catalyst for the escape velocity of the Bitcoin price. Now, a lot of people don't understand that yet, but that is the catalyst for escape velocity. That's the thing that sends Bitcoin to the moon and never comes back, because Michael Saylor, I think, is one of the most trusted Bitcoiners. We know exactly what he's going to do with it. We know how he's going to do it, when he's going to do it, because he tells you. And then the second, or one of the fastest growing in the market is Metaplanet, and they tell you exactly what they're going to do too. So at some point in time, absolute scarcity is going to get that unlimited demand. And then that's going to set the price. And that is, I believe, the thing that's going to push us to the next price level.
If you like that clip, then you definitely got to check out this next spicy clip. I think you're really going to like it. Come on, check it out. But if you want the full version, the full interview, then check that out over here. Come on, do it. I'll see you in there.